Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I'm doing my updated 2022 Senate map prediction. So before I get into the video, make sure to like the video, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you press the red subscribe button in the description box below. So with that said, 2022 Senate, Democrats start off with 36 seats, Republicans start off with 30, and I'm going to go from east to west and break down each state. I'm going to start with the state of New Hampshire. I'm going to be putting that in the battleground column. This is a state that I think is going to be very, very competitive, and I want to talk about a little more. The state of Vermont, Patrick Leahy is retiring, but Vermont's congressman will be running for that seat. It will be a safe win for the Democrats. The state of Connecticut will also be a safe win for the Democrats as well. The state of New York, no surprise, will also be safe, as would the state of Maryland. The only thing about Maryland is it's interesting to watch if Governor Larry Hogan does decide to run. If you ask me today, I would say he's not going to, but that is something you absolutely want to keep an eye out for. Now we have the state of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, I'm also putting in the battleground column. I want to talk more about the state of Pennsylvania. The state of Ohio. Ohio's a state that is trending more and more Republican, so I don't think it's a battleground. I'm going to put it in likely Republican to start off. I think if the Republican nominee is Josh Mandel versus Tim Ryan at this time, I think Tim Ryan, being a more moderate-ish Democrat, would definitely make it a more competitive race, but a Republican win nonetheless. The state of Indiana, I think Indiana starts off in the safe column for Republicans. Kentucky, Rand Paul, I think, would also be safe. North Carolina would also be a very close and contested race. Tim Scott in South Carolina, I think he should win by over 10 to 15 percentage points. I don't think that should be too much of a problem for him. The state of Georgia, I think Georgia would be a battleground state as well. The state of Florida, Marco Rubio has performed very well when it comes to Senate races, and Val Demings is probably his toughest opponent he's faced, but I still think Florida starts off, I think I'm putting in the likely column, which is between 5 to 10 percentage points. And I think I'm being very generous to Val Demings on this one. I think it very well could start off in the safe column, but likely for Florida for now. Alabama, likely to be Mo Brooks, I would say at this time, is the Trump-endorsed candidate, will likely win that Alabama Senate seat. Louisiana, John Kennedy, he'll likely win. Arkansas will also be safe red. The state of Missouri, so Missouri right now, it has a very contested Republican primary between Eric Greitens, Eric Schmidt, Representative Billy Long, was in Mark McCloskey, the video that went viral a few years ago with him. So there's a very contested Republican primary in the state of Missouri. I still think that race right now starts off as likely Republican. I'm not going to put it in safe yet because I'm pretty sure the Democrats have fielded a relatively pretty good candidate, or if not, they have some potential good candidates as well. So I'm going to start Missouri in the likely column. The state of Illinois, Tammy Duckworth should win this. Not too much of a problem. The state of Wisconsin, Ron Johnson, battleground state. We're going to hear what his decision is going to be. The state of Iowa is going to be a safe Republican win. The incumbent senator is running for re-election, Senator Chuck Grassley. North Dakota should be a safe Republican win. South Dakota as well should be a safe Republican win. The state of Kansas, the governor's race will likely be very close. The Senate race, I don't think so. It should probably a safe Republican win. James Langford in Oklahoma, I think his only competition would be in the primary. If he gets to the general, that should be a safe Republican win as well. The state of Colorado. Now, 2022 in all respects will be a Republican-leaning wave year, and Republicans should do very well in 2022. The state of Colorado has definitely moved very far to the left in terms of reliably voting for Democrats. So even in 2022, I'm starting off Colorado in the likely column, and I don't see Republicans being able to win that Senate seat, but I do think it's under 10 points as of now. The state of Idaho, Mike Crapo, I believe, will be a safe Republican win. Mike Lee in Utah will be a safe Republican win as well. The state of Arizona, Arizona starts off in the battleground column, as does the state of Nevada. Washington State, I believe that is Senator Patty Murray. I think that's going to be safe for now. I've seen some polls that show maybe it could get closer, as I believe her popularity levels have gone down a little bit. But for now, Washington will be safe. as will Oregon and California. The state of Hawaii will also be safe. Alaska. So Alaska, for now, I'm going to put in the likely Republican column. My reasoning for this is it all depends on if Tishbaka is the nominee or Lisa Murkowski, because if it's Murkowski, I expect it to probably go in the safe column. If it's Tishbaka, then does Murkowski become a write-in candidate? There's a lot of questions that I'll be asked. So Alaska, likely Republican for now. Republicans have 47 Senate seats. Democrats have 46, with 7 battleground seats that I consider to be the main bellwethers of the 2022 midterms. Starting first with the state of New Hampshire. New Hampshire, Democratic Senator Maggie Hassan is up for re-election for the first time. She won back in 2016. This is a seat that Republicans can very likely pick up. However, the Republicans do not have a strong GOP candidate at this time. If Republicans could get a strong candidate, I could definitely see this race flipping. But as of now, without a strong candidate, and Maggie Hassan being a very formidable candidate, fundraiser, and campaigner, I think Maggie Hassan starts off winning between 1 to 4% percentage points or so. Again, if Republicans get a strong candidate, New Hampshire is a state that absolutely could flip. The state of Wisconsin, not to rhyme, but it really depends on what Ron Johnson decides to do. If Ron Johnson runs, I think this race is more likely to be a Republican win. If Ron Johnson does not run, then it's definitely a certain toss-up, and it depends on who the Republicans nominate. Mandela Barnes is likely to be the Democratic nominee on the Democratic side, and he is a very formidable and good candidate in Wisconsin. I can only assume at this moment that Ron Johnson runs, but I can't speculate on what's going to happen or not. So for now, I'm going to play it safe and just put Wisconsin in the lean Republican column. I will say that if Ron Johnson decides not to run, then I'm going to leave it in the pure battleground to maybe tilt Republican column. But for now, I'm going to leave it in lean R, assuming that Senator Johnson will run again. The state of Pennsylvania, if everything happens right now, it looks like it'll be John Fetterman going up against Dr. Mehmet Oz. And given that 2022 is a strong Republican year, and the internal poll conducted by Fetterman's campaign has him up only 3 in an internal poll, I'm going to narrowly give this race to Dr. Oz under 1%. And it's weird to think about, but I think the 2022 Republican environment will be so strong that it will make a first-time candidate like Dr. Oz potentially giving him a upset victory in the state of Pennsylvania. The state of North Carolina, Senator Richard Burr is retiring, and former Governor Pat McCrory is running for this seat, and he is running against Trump-endorsed candidate Representative Ted Budd in the GOP primary. What happens to that primary will be very interesting. Representative Mark Walker recently dropped out of that race at the encouragement of Donald Trump. So right now that primary is going to be very contentious. I'm not sure which way it'll go. Ted Budd seems like he's gaining momentum now following that Mark Walker dropping out or suspending his campaign. But either way, for now, the general election, I think North Carolina will be very close. But I am going to put it in the lean Republican column for now. Republicans at 50, Democrats at 47. Next, we move down to the state of Georgia, where you have Democrat Raphael Warnock going up against Republican Herschel Walker. This race is going to be very, very close, no doubt in my mind. However, I think the top candidate for the Republicans in this race is Herschel Walker. I think if it was a rematch between Warnock and Kelly Loeffler, I think she would lose. And I think Stacey Abrams being on the ticket is certainly going to boost Democratic turnout. However, I think that Herschel Walker will just have enough support to very nearly, by the thinnest of margins, win this race over Warnock. However, if this race does go to a runoff election again, that could become a different story, and then things can get much more competitive. Then we could see Warnock winning again. But I think on election night in 2022, I do think Herschel Walker will be able to win the Senate seat. This leads the 2 states of Nevada and Arizona. These are 2 states that I really keep going back and forth on. 2022 is a strong Republican year, and we're starting to see that now with the situation the country's in. So that I think that is playing a factor. Mark Kelly in Arizona, he's not disapproved of, and I think Mark Brnovich is a formidable Republican candidate. I don't think he's the best candidate. The best candidates running in Arizona would be Governor Doug Ducey by a pure electoral and an electability standpoint, but I'm going to actually flip an earlier prediction in mine. I think Arizona may be able to be won by Brnovich. It's going to be very close, but I do think he will be able to pull this race out if the environment that 2022 suggests continues to trend that way. And lastly, we have the state of Nevada, where we have Senator Catherine Cortez Masto going up against Republican Adam Laxalt, ran for governor in 2018 against Steve Sisolak, lost by I think it was about 2.5 percentage points to 3%, somewhere in that range. 2022 is going to be a very, very tough year for Democrats, and again, I'm going to go back in a previous prediction of mine. I'm going to flip the state of Nevada into the tilt Republican column, and Adam Laxalt, I think, will narrowly win that Senate race as of today. Republicans get 53 seats, Democrats have 47, and this map, it shows how back and forth things can change. 2022 is still about a year away, so a lot can change in that time, but right now I have Republicans with 53 Senate seats, Democrats with 47. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like the video and subscribe in the description box below, as I mentioned earlier on in the video. And leave a comment below telling me what you think is going to happen in 2022, and if your state has a senator up for re-election, who do you think will win that particular race? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.